So my son's asleep, so I thought it'd be a good opportunity to speak on fatherhood and what that means to me and how I've been going about doing so in different men in my life that was an inspiration to me or a learning factor for me, and how that shaped me to be the father that I am, the person that I am today. So, as you all know, I have a son, Elijah. He's 1. He'll be 2 in February, and such a goofball. Really, really energetic, super funny, just like me in a lot of ways, which I find very, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Irritating, I guess. Because when you start to see yourself in a mirror or in a baby form, then you start to see what people what people think about you. But before I get into that, let's go back in time to where it all started, I guess. So with me and my father, our relationship was a little weird. I don't remember a lot of our relationship, maybe because it's something I try to forget. I'm not sure, but from what I remember, it was different. It wasn't like your regular father and son relationship. I don't remember playing like football, basketball, catch with my father. Occasionally, I guess, but it wasn't as much as I wanted it to. And he was gone most of the time, back and forth from here to California. So it was kind of a thing that I couldn't really go to him and say, hey, let's do X, Y, and Z. So when he was there, it was just mostly babysitting. I felt like by that time, when I started to realize how important a father was, we already had, the bunch of us. There was a five. There was 5 of us, so the attention was spread to all 5, and even that time, it wasn't really what it should have been. With 3 boys and 2 girls, I would hope there would be some type of father role that would play into that. But I never really experienced it. He was super judgmental at the time because we were overweight, and which was crazy because when he was younger, all the way until probably 20 something, he was always overweight. So that was a big challenge for us, especially me, trying to be the oldest and being as loving as I am. But it was it was rough trying to always stay on his good side, never be on the bad side, because once you're on the bad side, you would hear everything from you're stupid, you're fat, all that extra stuff. So we did the best that we could to, yeah, to just blend in, not cause a lot of attention to ourselves. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. It's odd because I feel like I blocked out so much of my memory from him, just because of, I guess, the hurt that I felt, and then some of the things that transpired when I was growing up. I remember one thing very vividly, and I don't think I'll ever forget it. It was one time, me and my cousin, we went to Idaho to visit with some family members, and he was with a different girl at the time, and I called them to tell them how it went. I was in, I think, elementary, probably 4th, 5th grade. I don't remember fully, but I called them and, I was like, hey, is my dad there? Can I talk to him? Blah, blah, blah. So she says, hold on. I'm like, great. I'm about to talk to my dad, about to have a good time. I hear her say, hey, your son's on the phone. And then a couple of seconds later, she says, hey, your dad's not here. Can you call back later? As a kid, you just suck it up and say, yeah, of course, I'll call him back. But that broke me in a way that was different from any whooping, any, you know, mental abusive thing that he could have said, knowing that he didn't want to hear me, want to talk to me, or even want to know if I got there safe. That to me was worse than anything. So at that time, I just continued, living life, trying to find happiness in other ways. I got really insecure, really down on myself for years. So that was my relationship with my father. I was raised by four men in my life throughout the period of my life. So I'm just going through each one of them. Again, this is not anything to throw shade or throw dirt on people's names. That was back then. He was younger then, even though he was an adult. He was younger then. He grew up now. I made the effort to once I started driving, once I started becoming a teenager, I made an effort to get to know him on a personal level, regardless on what happened to me as a child. I didn't want him to die, and if I had children, not be able to tell them what type of man he was, or me, not knowing what type of man he was. So our relationship is a lot better now. He's still pretty crazy, a big goofball, but love him to death. And it was something that I had to swallow. Like I had to swallow my pride and understand that not everyone, has a father that they can just reach out to, regardless of what the circumstances was. So now I'm able to talk to him about adult stuff, talk to him about life, and even though the memories of playing catch and coming to him about relationship or girls or him telling me I'm handsome, I can do stuff. I wasn't able to experience that. So that's a big chunk of my life that I was gone. But I'm glad that this chunk of my life it's spent getting to know him, getting to know where I came, who I came from, basically. So the second man that I was raised by was my uncle, my mom's brother, and he was a character, man. He drank a lot. He was, I guess, he called himself a rebel a lot of the times. He didn't do anything illegal, but always called himself a rebel. But he loved me. He took very good care of me. He taught me how to fish. Taught me a lot of information that was very valuable to me as an adult. But again, it wasn't what I needed. Wasn't what I was looking for. Not being biological probably played a part in that as a young child. But he was there. But again, some of the parental roles or the guidance that you need as a young man that wasn't there. And if it was some of the stuff that I wasn't going for. Like have sex with many people as you can, be as safe as you can. I don't think you ever mentioned that to me, but yeah. So and the type of role model he was I don't know how to explain it. He was also aggressive. Either with the women he was with, or when he would get drunk with us or whatever. So that was kind of a hard place to try to find comfort, try to find love in. There was many a times that I was over there, or we were together, and him and his girlfriend would be arguing, and certain things like that transpire. I'm not trying to put a lot of his business out there, but the things that I saw was kind of I wouldn't say traumatizing, because again, he always made me feel safe, but it was something that I didn't want to I guess carry on as an adult. And the next man was my grandfather. My grandfather was everything, man. And he was always proud of his last name, always reminding me that I came from him. And he could do no wrong in my eyes. But as I grew up and started to get older, again, you start to peep little things that are not really supposed to transpire. Again, he was a heavy drinker as well. So there'd be times that you wouldn't know who or which side you would get from him, and it was always tough to oh it was always tough to try to pick and pull different characteristics from him because again you'll have that sober and then drunken side. So it was it was confusing. I think and that's what men don't understand is when you have children, especially boys, what you do can affect them in ways that you never understood possible. Like with these three men, they have I'm not gonna say fucked me up, but they have made me view the world so differently, and it it has ruined a lot of experiences for me, ruined a lot of moments that I could have taken just because of some of the things that I remembered that would happen, and I was afraid to continue pursuing whatever, or not having the confidence to even try to ask a girl out on a date because again, none of them really told me how to approach women, how to talk to women. So I had a mom, yeah, and mothers. They always tell you, "Oh, be nice to them, compliment them, tell them they're pretty, blah blah blah." But I feel like when it comes from a man, it's more solid. You know, I'm. I wish I knew the words to say on how important a father is. Raising my son and seeing the characteristics he has that comes from me and how he acts like me. It hit home really hard to how now I can see them in me and how uh yeah, I guess on how I treated other people is the same way they treated people that they knew. And I just wish men understood that your children look for you for comfort, guidance, support, love, and when they don't have that mentally or in their spirit, they start to feel empty. They start to feel abandoned, even though that you're physically there. That psychological thing is a raging war in their head. But I mean, I guess that's enough for my grandfather. There's really not a lot to say. I mean, he was, yeah. I mean, he was a good man, but again, he had his own demons, and I wasn't able to follow suit as much as I wanted to, just because I didn't agree with some of the things that he and they were doing. So as I was getting older, my mom found another man, and this is the fourth man who raised me. And just like any other man your mom will get with, you automatically hate him. I didn't like him. He wasn't my father. He would never have been my father. And I held a grudge against my mom because as a child, I didn't understand adult business. I thought she was giving up on my father. I thought she was giving up on a family. Not knowing the details or the emotions that both of them were going through. But yeah, so she's still with this man, and growing up, I started to warm up to him more. He started to show that he was there. He started to prove that regardless of what we thought about him, he wasn't going nowhere. And not a lot of men think that way. Not a lot of men would care about other people's children, and that's what he did. He cared tremendously about us. Even if it was behind the scenes, giving our mom money for either school clothes, food, rent, regardless on what it was. He was there, and just the conversations I have with him now, it's like I knew him forever, and I don't know. Sometimes you wish that that was there from the beginning because you start to see what you missed out on. You start to see what I guess what love is really supposed to be. Not to say that the other man never showed me the type of love that I was looking for, but it was different because he was around a lot. It just I don't know, it was different. It was different from what I experienced as a child, and that was something that I really strive to be like, regardless if he knew it or not. The way he treated my mom was was beautiful. She can tell you she never felt love like that. Uh, she never met a man who really was all for her, and yeah, it was just beautiful. And now with my own son, I'm trying to be as much like him as possible. He never, well, since I've known him, never, been without a job, never been without a house. He's always looked out for whomever he had to, know. So that was always a blessing for me, you know. And I just wish that I could go back and tell my younger self like this man is actually he's actually a good man, and I wish that I was able to see that then. But like I said, there's nothing better than the present, and I'm looking forward to just spend a lot of time with him. Can't wait to see him and my mom get married. They deserve happiness. She deserves happiness. And when she finally found someone that was for her, I'm glad that was it. I'm glad it was him. So those were all of the men that played a big role in my life. A lot of good, a lot of bad, definitely a lot of ugly, a lot of ugly that I try to forget, that I need to move past. So it's good getting it out and good um, showing other people how, regardless of the circumstances you're in, when it comes to your father, there's nothing they could have done to you that would make you that would oh man, what am I looking for? I guess once you have a child and you want to be the best dad that you can be, but you're trying so hard not to be like them, or you're thinking that you will be like them, there is no there we go. There's nothing that they could have done that would make you like them if you don't want to be like them. So now we can go to my son and how fatherhood has infected, has impacted me in ways that I've never thought possible. So my son, I believe, was conceived in South Dakota because when we got back to Tulsa a couple weeks later, she found out she was pregnant, and I was excited. I always wanted a child, always wanted a son, just because of the things that I went through as a child. I always wanted that family unit. I thought I could do better than my parents. So when I was having sex with his mom, I didn't use protection. I didn't care just because I knew if she would have got pregnant, I would have took care of both of them to the best of my ability. which looking back was one of the stupidest things I could have done. Now I'm trying to juggle being a father and also being an entertainer and a comedian and all that stuff. It's a lot harder now, but that's just the road that I walked down, and that's where I'm gonna continue walking down. I will never give up on my child. I'll never give up on his mother. So when he found out she was pregnant, I was hella excited. Also nervous because who wouldn't be? You know, a child, a new life. But I I loved him before I knew he was even gonna be, in this world. So going through a pregnancy, she worked. I was unemployed. That right there killed me in my soul. I didn't know what I wanted to do. As you all may know, I graduated culinary school, and that was something that I wanted to do, but decided to uh, do a different route. And she was always supportive. Even when I quit jobs, she never got on to me. She just understood. She uh, you know helped me through whatever. And seeing her work pregnant and barely complain about it while I was just sitting home, gaining weight, doing nothing. I really appreciate her for doing that. But I ended up getting my stuff together, getting a job. I really don't remember where it was at now. But he was born February 11th, 2020, and that's when my new life began. Seeing him and holding him, I didn't I didn't feel how I thought I would feel. If that makes sense. Like it was just a child, I helped raise my siblings, so I thought, it felt like that. But as he got older and as he started mimicking certain things I did or mimicking certain things his mom did, then it started to hit home like, fuck, this is my child. You know, he will be here 24/7. I can't run. I can't get away from him. Once he wakes up, I'm in dad mode, and that feeling right there, I don't think you can explain it. The only thing I really can say is you start to know what that unconditional love is. Like my son can burn my whole apartment down, and I wouldn't feel. I'll be disappointed, of course, but I wouldn't love him any less. And I mean, a lot of parents would feel the same way. Regardless of what he does, I don't know. He can't do nothing that would make me feel any different. So now that he's one and going to be two, he's a ball of energy. He loves to play outside. He loves to play with his toys. He loves to beat up me. That was a really bad sentence. My bad, you guys. He he loves to play fight with me, and I love every moment of it. But what I am trying to do to raise him to the best of my ability is give him structure, give him routine, give him things that will help him learn in his like mental development. And I feel like that's a good place to start, especially when they're young. If he does things that are wrong, like if he spills something, okay, of course, yeah, daddy help you, clean it up, how we can do, or what we can do differently so we don't spill it. But if he's doing something he knows he's not supposed to do, and I tell him multiple times not to do it, yes, he gets a whooping. He hates it, and I hate giving it to him. I I didn't understand when I was younger when they said, "Oh, this hurts me more than it hurt you." I was like, "Yeah, right. I'm the one getting whoopings." But no, I hate giving him whoopings because he doesn't understand why he's getting a whooping. So like his little heart is just so broke. So I try, when I do discipline him, I try to talk to him and help him understand, like Elijah, this is what you did wrong. This is what we need to do better, and it's over at that point. I try to cheer him up. I try to go play with him, just so he knows that I'm not like a tyrant. I'm not a meanie or a mean dad. I'm a dad that wants you to live life. I want you to love, but I also want you to be the best you that you can be. So if you're doing something that may harm yourself or you're doing something bad, it is my job to correct you. So when you're older, oh, this is not responsible or this is not good because my daddy said so. My dad told me this will hurt me, so so I can stay away from it. And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people will talk to their children any type of way, which I find, I guess, mind blowing. How can you? I hear a lot of or a lot of parents talk bad on their child. I heard this one mom. She was like, "Look how you guys are acting. This is why either I drink or this is why I take medicine." It was one of the two. And I've heard that as a child, and it really broke my heart to see that other children go through that. And again, parents don't understand what kind of mental mental damage that does to a child. Like, how can you tell, regardless of the age, how can you tell a child that they're the reason that you're addicted to what you're addicted to? Then the cycle continues. The cycle keeps rolling, and we have a world full of parents who give up on their children, who who have these children that don't respect them, and they end up rebelling and all that extra stuff. So, oh, where am I at? Sorry, train of thought. Train of thought was gone. Oh, you guys can come in. That's fine. So I'm doing a podcast on fatherhood. So if you guys just want to show yourself, say hi. Oh, so you guys think I'm a good father? Yeah, you think so? Really? High fives? No, I was just telling them how we grew up and how our father was and different people that we were raised by and how I could be a better father raising butt. So if you guys just want to go in, have fun. I put my phone on do not disturb, so just yeah, text her. Yeah, but sleep. So have all that fun stuff. Oh, sorry about that. Again, they grow up so fast. My brother is 20. One of the girls is 18, and the other ones is like 13, 14, or 14, 15. One of the two, and yeah, all raised by the same people. And now I'm glad that they showed up because it reminded me of something I wanted to talk about. We we all grew up by the same people, but we all turned out differently. We saw a lot of fight and a lot of fighting, a lot of arguments, and it changed all of us differently. We all are insecure in our own different ways. Like my brother, he's very reclusive. He acts a lot like my father in the nonchalant way. My sister, she's very independent, but it gets to the point to where it's kind of like, all right, you need to slow down. You don't know everything yet. You just became a woman, which is I would never know the struggles with that. But and then the other two, they're just teenagers, so you know how teenagers are. But again, back to my son, what fathers need to understand is that when you leave your children and they're raised by a single parent, they're not getting the full experience of what a man's supposed to be, what a man is. And I didn't I didn't get that for the longest. When you're raised by women, in my opinion, you're more feminine, which is nothing wrong with that. But I never defended myself. I always let people bully me. Um, I always tried to be the funniest because I was always scared that somebody would want to fight me, and I never had a father to teach me how to fight. And certain things like that, like even how to shave. Like I just visually saw how to. I mean, I don't shave, but that's something that a lot of fathers, would teach their children. And I never got that. I never got, hey, this is how you clean your body. This is how you're supposed to keep your body up. And men need to sit down and have these conversations with their children because this shit is important. Like, stop thinking that you're loving your son too much. A lot of men, especially men in the hood, or a lot of black men will tell you, well, this is tough love, or he needs to toughen up, he needs to be a man. Well, how can you teach him how to be a man, when your father wasn't around? So when you tell him to be a man, is that because like is that because you had to fucking toughen up, or you had to block out the feminine part of your mind because you thought that what was cool at the time? No, you can never overlove your child. You can never tell your son you love them enough. You can never, give them a kiss. I kiss my son every moment, every moment I get, or even if he wants one, he always gives me a big ma is what he calls it, and I would never replace that for the world. You need to stop telling these children to tough, or telling these boys to toughen up. Tell them you love them. Tell them it's okay to cry. Crying as a man is one of the most masculine things you can do because that pain that is leaving your body through them tears leaves room for strength, for character, for everything you need to be a man. And oh my goodness, I hope if you see this podcast, or if you see this yeah, podcast, I don't know where I'm going with that. But if you see this podcast, I hope it really hits home to you that a male presence is one of the biggest things you can give to a child, you can give to your son. I have this man told me, regardless of what your status is, your children don't see your bank account. They don't see your status outside of the home. They just see that you're there. Your presence play a big part in how children view you, and that to me is something that I'll hold on to dearly. There was a lot of basketball games. There was a lot of soccer games. There was a lot of everything that my father wasn't there for, and I feel like if he was there, I would have had a lot more confidence to pursue a lot of things that I wanted to do. And again, I'm not blaming no one for the choices that I made, but I know for sure that if I had that presence, that love, uh, that a father should give to their child, I feel like I'd be a lot better off. I wouldn't be starting from scratch. I would be uh, further ahead than what I am now. But that's just something again that I have to continue to walk with, and hopefully my son don't have to start where I started from. He can continue walking the path that I'm walking once he's older, or start from where I left off and make his own path. So so it's always good to see. I'm sorry. I'm good. How are you guys? Good. Sorry about that. Well, um, oh yeah, I hope so too. Yeah, well, next time I see you, you're gonna have to let me know how it went, or if they do that to you. Oh, sorry about that, guys. My neighbor has cancer. She's probably like 50, 60, and she was letting me know how her appointment went. But but yeah, hopefully, when my son gets to the age that I am now, I'm successful, he's successful, and you know he can continue carrying my last name, carrying my grandfather's last name, um, to superstardom. You know, I want him to be proud of his daddy. I want him to love his daddy. I don't want him to find other role models that are men. I want him to when he wins an award or he gives a speech with something. I want him to say my biggest role model was my father, and that's one of the biggest things that I'm looking forward to, and I hope that's a big thing that a lot of you fathers are looking forward to. I get jealous of my son sometimes because when we're playing catch or I'm playing with him, I wish I knew I wish I knew the joy he was feeling, but I wish my father knew the joy that I'm feeling. Oh, why did that hit so hard? Anyway, yeah, I just wish he felt this feeling. You know, yeah, I guess that's it, guys. Um, if you're a father and you're seeing this, love your children, love your son. You don't understand the amount of impact that you have on them. Every word you say, everything you do, they're soaking it in. They're more like they're more like you than you ever will imagine. So continue to be a good man, continue to be a good father, and I hope this helps someone. Um, yeah, from me to you guys.